went to the city and he told me that he fought with a white man and he died. The prosecution witness stated and added that he eventually went to the Carabao police station to report the matter. Festus said he reported the matter to the police to help them arrest the accused person. He further testified that the first accused had informed him that he was across the river in Barra, within the premises of the ferry terminal. I was later accompanied to Barra by one Inspector Cham, one for accused, and noted that the first accused was expecting him in Barra as he needed financial support. On the cross-examination, Festus stated that he knows the first accused as a dealer of second-hand clothes. The witness further revealed that he gave police a statement which he consequently identified after a careful inspection. Prosecution raised no objections when the defense moved to tender it as evidence, setting the ground for the admission of the first defense exhibit. The witness was next asked to indicate where he had stated on the document been told by the accused person that he fought with a white man and he died, but he was unable to show the court. Festus, however, emphasized that he had revealed all these details to the police officer who recorded his statement, but the legal aid counsel representing the accused persons put it to him that the first accused never told him anything about the case. The witness disagreed and stated that the accused did indeed tell him about the matter. He was consequently discharged, and prosecution presented its second witness. Madeline Fuala Job is witness number 2. A Kotu resident, Fuala Job, told the court that she works as a barkeeper at the Cornish Ham, a restaurant owned by the deceased Briton Ian Stokes in Kololi. It was about 8 p.m. on the fateful day. She was behind the bar and Ian was drinking a beer she had served him about 2 meters beside her. When a customer walked into the restaurant, bought a beer at the bar, and sat a few tables opposite Ian Stokes, who she said was eventually asked by the customer if he was ready, and he replied in the affirmative. Madeline stated that his boss told her that he'll be back in a few minutes, and went out with the customer. When he failed to return, Fuala Job accused that she called his phone on 3 occasions, but his boss's phone was switched off. So she called Ian's daughters and asked them to come over to the restaurant. Madeline stated that she eventually went to the police to report the matter, but was advised to go home and come back if his boss fails to return. I went to church the following morning and received a call from my former boss by the name Suzanne, who informed me that Ian Stokes' body was found dead in his car at Junction Bar. Tumbul Keta, a Junction Bar resident, came next. A driver by profession, Tumbul told the Special Criminal Court that Junction Bar is actually located between Sukuta and Bakote, whilst recalling the events which happened on the 13th of May. It was on a Sunday morning and he was going for his usual walk after the early morning prayers around 7 a.m. when he came across a vehicle seemingly stuck in a sandy part of the road. When I got closer, I saw a human being lying down on the seat of the car with blood oozing from the left side of his body. Tumbul Keta testified and related how he instantly rushed to report the discovery to the police, who later came to the scene. Keta testified that the man he discovered is a Caucasian male. On the cross-examination, the third prosecution witness said he does not know what happened to the man. Fansu Sow, a police inspector, testified next as prosecution's fourth witness. After identifying all accused persons standing trial, Sow explained how he obtained cautionary and voluntary statements from the first accused person, Michael Ifunaya, on the 15th of May in the presence of an independent witness. Prosecutors consequently succeeded in admitting the cautionary statement as evidence through the witness, but the defense counsel opposed the admission of a voluntary statement on conspiracy to commit felony on the basis that it was acquired from the first accused under duress. The legal aid counsel for the accused persons invited the court to certify the admissibility of the document by ordering a voir dire or mini-trial, which was consequently granted by the court. Fansu Sow, prosecution's fourth witness, became the first witness in the mini-trial, during which he dismissed the allegations of torture and treatment under duress by the first accused, Michael Ifunaya. On the cross-examination, the witness further denied using any kind of force or coercion to obtain a statement from the accused person. The case was subsequently rescheduled for the continuation of the mini-trial. Ibrahim Ajata, GRTS.
The United Nations Children Fund UNICEF this morning launched its State of the World's Children Report 2012. The program held at Kotu Kware was attended by government ministers, mayors and other dignitaries. The theme for this year's report is Children in Urban World, and it seeks to highlight the plight of over 1 billion children living in urban areas where they face growing poverty, scarcity and deprivation. Mahmoud Jallo reports.
The 2012 State of the World's Children's Report, produced by the United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF, pays particular attention to children living in urban areas which are often associated with employment, development, and other luxuries of life. But as the report highlights, millions of children, especially in developing countries, grow up and live in scarcity, deprivation, and poverty, often in overcrowded slums lacking basic necessities. In order to highlight their plight and raise awareness on the state of children, UNICEF chose Kotu Kware as the venue for the launching of the report. The launching ceremony attracted government ministers, mayors, members of the United Nations system in the Gambia, and a cross-section of the community of Kotu Kware. The alcalde of the area, Alaji Emo Fall, welcomed the launching as an opportunity to not only highlight the problems facing children, but also galvanize support for community-based initiatives aimed at improving the plight of vulnerable children. The mayor of the Kanifing municipality, Yankuba Koli, acknowledged the numerous challenges facing children in urban areas, but called for adequate measures to mitigate their plight.
To attain the right of every child to a standard of living adequate for his or her physical, mental, spiritual, moral, and social development, we need to empower families and caregivers to provide adequate and appropriate care and protection to children, since developmental deficiencies that occur during childhood are difficult to revise.
The UNICEF country representative Aissatou Diawara Flambert commended the Gambia government for acknowledging the situation of urban children, their risks and vulnerabilities, but called for the adoption of what she called the equity approach to ensure that interventions are focused on the poorest, most vulnerable and most marginalized children. Understanding urban poverty and exclusion, as well as removing the barriers to inclusion by strengthening urban planning, infrastructure development, and reducing poverty and inequality among children, Mrs. Diawara Flambert argued, are some of the key steps adopted by UNICEF to build an equitable approach to children in urban settings.
To put children first by placing a child focus on their particular needs in urban planning, infrastructure, and governance. The fourth step is to promote partnership with the urban poor through initiatives that enable communities, and in particular children and young people, to influence urban policy, planning, and services. The last step is to work together to achieve better results for children.
General Barry, a child from Kotu Kware, made this appeal to the officials.
Since a healthy mind is found in a healthy body, we need playing grounds too. Many of the little children here play in this quarry, which can be very dangerous for them as they can have an accident and hurt themselves. We also need a health center close by so that our parents can help us remain healthy and strong, because our environment is not so clean. We can easily get diseases such as malaria, especially during the rainy season.
The Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Fatim Baji, launched the report on behalf of the Vice President and Minister of Women's Affairs, Her Excellency Ajah Dr. Aissatou Jai Sedi. He underscored the Gambia government's unwavering commitment to the welfare of children and their rights. The Health Minister also said that government has made tremendous strides towards the achievement of the Millennium Development Goals and called on development partners, communities and parents to work together to achieve a desirable world for our children.
In the Gambia, our commitment to the MDGs is not only in doubt, but we have provided benchmarks with all our development endeavors and partners. They have been integrated in our poverty reduction strategy paper, the PRSP, and now today in the PAGE, which is our national development and emphasizes our national strategic plan.
The 2012 report takes into account the millions of children living in urban areas where many of them are left practically invisible and excluded from urban services. The report paints a scary picture of the future of children living in these urban areas, who account for about 60% of the increase in the urban population in Africa. Mamadou Diallo, GRTS.
The National Communication Framework on Climate Change is being validated for the second time. The outline contains strategies designed to help implement the impact of climate change in line with Articles 4 and 12 of the United Nations Climate Change Convention. Samuel Ba has more on the interface, spearheaded by the Department of Water Resources.
Consultative meeting organized by the Department of Water Resources also brought together relevant development partners to validate the Gambia's second draft document on climate change in fulfillment of the United Nations Framework on Climate Change Convention. Article 4 and 5 of the Convention call